Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in for another episode. This is the pros and cons of living in Lake Oswego.
I've lived in a lot of great places and I'm super picky, so here's my real opinion.
You're going to want to stick around, especially to the end, to hear her last one. All right, let's get to it. One of the pros, check out this lake here behind me. Lake Oswego is centered around a lake. The lake has one main part and then two smaller parts. This is one of the smaller parts. Has like a little bridge on this part that goes through it from the main lake. It's a really cool, amazing lake. It's definitely a pro. Lake Oswego, yes, is built around a lake. And we're right now at Millennium Park, which is right at the beginning or the heart of downtown Lake Oswego, where it's 100% walkability to First Edition. All the shops are right here. The gift shops, clothing, coffee shops, restaurants, and yes, some bars, but we actually just got a new brewery here as well, Breakside, which I'm really excited to go check out. I've had their beers, really good, but haven't been to this new location yet. We have two little kids, 11-month-old and a 3.5-year-old, so we don't get out too much. This is us getting out.
Okay, but I want to back up a little bit. I think it's important to tell everyone, where else have we lived? So we're talking about pros and cons of living in Lake Oswego. What do we have to compare it to? Where else have we lived? We've both lived in a lot of different places, growing up and as adults. So
good point.
Where else have you lived?
I have lived kind of all over. Born in New York, lived in Texas, Austin, Houston. I lived in England for a year, in Cheltenham near the Cotswolds. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona. I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in Kansas City and Topeka, Kansas. And now I live in Portland, Oregon. I've lived in a lot of places with a lot of different climates. That's just to give you a little history of our perspective and where we're coming from. We moved here 2.5 years ago. I freaking love where we live. I love this place. It's really cool. It's a good place for where we are in our lives right now. We couldn't afford a house in Los Angeles, and that's one of the reasons we moved here.
We actually could have afforded a house in LA, but it would have taken
just not where we
doubling
wanted to
down
live.
On work, the type of work we were doing at the time, and putting everything into that mortgage instead of doing the investing we wanted to do and live the lifestyle we wanted to live. And I think there's a lot of people out there like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about where have I lived? So
where have you lived?
I grew up in Arizona and moved to Southern California after college. Lived in Orange County, Laguna Beach, Newport Beach. I lived in San Francisco for a short time, spent several years in LA, and also lived in Northeast Portland. I also spent a lot of time in the Midwest as a kid. I had family there. That's really where I have to compare to.
You've lived in a lot of places just like me.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of perspective. Let's get to it.
I think it's fitting that we're starting here in Millennium Park because this is the hub. We spend a lot of time here, actually. This is where the farmers market is on summer weekends. There's cafes around the square. There's a super cute French bakery. This is where the Christmas tree lighting ceremony is over the holidays. There are movies here in the summer. So we actually spend a lot of time down here.
Yeah, they have this tree. This tree right here is planted in the ground, and so it's a live tree, and they decorate it for Christmas every year, which I think is cool. Instead of chopping one down and planting a new one, it's always here. So this whole area is fairly new. All these shops and stuff right here on First and A, and this whole kind of walkway and everything is fairly new. And one interesting thing is they have a train that cuts right through here, so we're gonna go right over these railroad tracks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you wanna talk about a con, for certain areas of living on the lake, you have a train going right outside your window in the middle of the night. So some of the prime real estate in Lake Oswego comes with loud choo-choo in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Here it is. On the north side of the lake, there's the train that goes by. It's a working cargo train, and I think one of the cool things about Portland, it is known as the city of bridges, and a lot of those bridges have trains that use them as well. And this was an industrial city a long time ago, and a lot of those industrial things are still in use today, which I think still gives it a lot of character.
So honey, let's talk about weather, because
Yes.
as you can see from looking behind us and where we are, it is absolutely gorgeous today. It's the middle of October, a Friday morning, super crisp blue skies, fall leaves, fall colors. I mean, look at the fall colors around the lake. It's gorgeous. But most people think it's a con, the weather. I don't know. I guess it depends on the person. What do you think?
I mean, right now, you can't beat this weather. I mean, it's amazing.
For me, it's a pro and a con. I love having 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It marks time in a more special way. It makes the holiday season feel more festive. I love fall and the fall colors. I love that it's not super, super hot here in the summertime. We definitely have some hot days, but for the most part, I don't like to be super hot. I like fall clothing. I like having seasons, but that comes with some dark, wet winter days, and there can definitely be some time, especially in early spring, where you're a little sick of the dark and the rain.
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys cut to view of the lake right here. I mean, it's just gorgeous out right now. So let me flip this around. I mean, you guys are seeing what I'm seeing right here. This is one of the pros of living in Lake Oswego for sure. So the weather is amazing. As you can see right now, it's like 63 degrees out, which depending on where you are, may sound cold or may sound great. To me, it's awesome. I don't love to be super hot, so I love this kind of weather. It's very temperate climate. So we do have all the seasons, but like Briana was saying, you're not going to get those crazy cold, snowy, icy winters. It usually snows for maybe a day or two or a week.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Like your kids get to see snow and, sled for a day and then it's gone. I'm from Arizona. I'm used to a lot of sunshine. So I kind of feel like if I can enjoy the weather here, most people can. And I think that enjoying the weather comes with a few mindset shifts, which are there's no bad weather, there's only the wrong clothing. So being ready, having your cute rain boots, having the right clothing. And then also when we are not in a pandemic, planning getaways strategically. So you can bet that when the world opens back up, we will probably take a February family vacation somewhere definitely sunny. So Hawaii, Palm Springs, somewhere where you're definitely going to get some sunshine. And I think just, being strategic about those things will make you enjoy the weather for what it is and not get bogged down in it.
100% agree. It's all about the layers in the transition seasons and in the fall and the spring. You just layer up, and then, sun comes out, it's really warm, and then in the shade it can feel 20 degrees cooler. So it's all about the layers.
Even if it's a really rainy day, usually at some point you're going to get some blue sky and you just have to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I love it. I hate to be too hot in the summer, and it's very rarely too hot. So we just had some crazy weather events where it was crazy hot. It's like once in a 30-year thing, they say. But other than that, it's usually really nice in the summer. Gorgeous. It rained, I think, one time this summer.
And if it is crazy hot, right behind us is the kids' splash pad in the summertime.
Oh, right. This is the train that cuts through Lake Oswego. You get used to it of hearing the horn late at night, depending on where you are.
It's easy for you to say.
Depending on where you are.
From our house, it's like, oh, do you hear that in the very far distance?
I don't even hear it anymore. People say, you go on next door, they're like, oh, I don't even hear the train anymore. You just get used to it. And I thought, no way. But yeah, you totally get used to it.
Okay, so let's talk about something that I think is mostly a con with a little bit of pro sprinkled in.
Okay.
And that is most of Lake Oswego is not very walkable.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, this is the exception for this part of the neighborhood, which is really extremely walkable. This is right up against First Edition, but then as soon as you get to any of the other neighborhoods, you really need to have a car. And it's a short drive. Nothing's more than, say, 11 minutes.
11 minutes. Everything is 11 minutes.
Everything is kind of what we joke around. There's nothing more than 11-minute drive in and around Lake Oswego. And everything's right here. So you really don't need to go outside of Lake Oswego if you don't want to. There's Millennium Park. There's the fountain right there. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Kind of this part of downtown Lake Oswego reminds me of like a ski town or something like that.
Yeah, the architecture definitely lines up with that. It has that chalet look to it and feels very much like a ski town. And then in the summertime, it has that holiday feeling because you are on the water, you're on the lake, you're on the river. And so like when we come down here on a Saturday to go to the farmer's market, I just want to, and our daughter's the same way, like we just want to have fun all day. It feels like vacation.
Yeah. Which is great to have where you live.
Yes.
You know, you want to have that vacation feel, and that's what we really get here. So that's one of the reasons why we love living here. Even with the cons, it's still, in our opinion, way worth it.
Yeah, I have to say, I had to dig deep for cons, so I'm giving you the worst of the worst.
All right, so while we're here in downtown Lake Oswego, where a lot of the restaurants are, let's talk about food. Pro or con, the restaurants and food available in Lake Oswego. Go.
Okay, I think historically, strong con, but it's improving quickly. So it's starting to become a pro little by little. Aaron did a video on our newest coffee shop, which is delicious, just as good as the best coffee in the city in Portland. I'm someone who will drive, 20 minutes if I have to get a really good cup of coffee, and now I don't have to.
She'll drag me and the kids with her. I am not as picky when it comes to food. I'll eat anything, but I do appreciate, obviously, good food, healthy food. I want to live a long time, but I also want to enjoy it at the same time. So I definitely have more cheat days and flexibility, but if it's available, I'm going to eat it. So I do love that we're getting more and more great restaurants coming through here.
Yeah, that just makes me think of something, which is that I think, 5 years ago, especially 10 years ago, but even just a few years ago, people who lived in like Northeast and Southeast Portland probably really looked down their nose at Lake Oswego as being like very suburban.
Yeah.
And for sure, there are definitely people in those pockets that like think that they're too hip for Lake Oswego. But I think a lot of people from those areas are starting to see everything that's great about living here, the small town feel, the great schools. They're growing into really appreciating Lake Oswego and bringing the good artisanal food with them. So a couple of, super hip restaurants in the city, Grassa, Lardo, those are the ones I'm thinking of, are opening new spots here in Lake Oswego.
Yeah, they're already open. They just opened. This is another great restaurant right here that just opened, was it less than a year ago, 6 months ago.
So what about buying a home here? Is it a pro or a con? The process, the prices?
Pro or con? Honestly, it could go either way, but I'm going to say right now it's a con because this is one of the most expensive areas in Portland, but it really depends what part of the country, what city you're moving from. So your cost of living could be way higher if you're coming from a New York, a Los Angeles, a San Francisco.
Your money might go a lot further here.
Right, exactly. Your money is going to go a lot further here. But if you're moving here from, say, Phoenix or somewhere in the Midwest, your money is definitely not going to go as far as home prices. The median home price is around $800,000 to $900,000, and it definitely varies in which pocket you're talking about. Right now, we're walking through First Edition, and the average home price in here is over $1 million. This is definitely one of the most expensive areas. It's because of the walkability. None of the other towns are walkable, but this is. But there are,
because it's beautiful. So let's get back into this neighborhood a little bit so they can get a glimpse at some of the houses. And I think that median home price, again, it depends on where you're coming from, because we have friends that live in LA that see our house here and what we got it for, and you know, are just drooling at what they pay in rent compared to what our mortgage is for our large home on a large lot in a great school district.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And I think there's even more people that are from Portland, living in Portland, the city, that are migrating to Lake Oswego as their taxes start to go up, and certain things we'll get into as well, just as far as the political climate and crime and homeless issues that are all real issues that, you know, plague certain parts of the city more than others. And, you know, Lake Oswego doesn't have a lot of those issues because it is a suburb and it is more removed from the city.
Let's walk down this street because I just think some of the houses on this street are super charming. Drive down this street all the time because it's where our library is. And just quick aside on a pro is that for families, I mean, this town is built for families with young kids. Pre-COVID, I was taking our daughter to story time at the library, and the librarians got to know her. And, you know, when COVID came and the library shut down, it was one of the most heartbreaking things for us. And our daughter would ask all the time to go to the library. And just in the last few months, as we've been able to go back, you know, the librarians greet her. They remember her. She loved all of the Beatrix Potter books, and they remembered that about her. And they kept this little Peter Rabbit decorative sign to give to her, sent us home with it. It's just that, like, warmth and nurturing family environment that I've never lived anywhere like it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so you mentioned political climate, you mentioned our proximity to Portland. Are there riots here?
In Lake Oswego, there are no riots and were no riots. You're removed from most of the crime and stuff that's going on in Portland. Lake Oswego is its own town, so we have our own fire department, our own police force, our own mayor. It's definitely extremely safe. If you look up the crime statistics here, it's extremely safe place to live. You know, and that being said, Portland's really not that dangerous at all, but there is increased crime rates all around Portland, and it's more in certain pockets and stuff. And Lake Oswego is definitely removed, you know, from that.
There's another argument, which is that, you know, moving to the suburbs and leaving the city behind isn't good for our cities and isn't good for diversity. And so I think, you know, anecdotally from our experience, there is diversity in Lake Oswego. Our next door neighbors are from Spain. Our next door neighbors on the other side are Pakistani. We choose to send our daughter to a French immersion school that has a Senegalese director, and that school naturally draws a lot of diversity to it. But, you know, I think if you compared Lake Oswego public schools with some of Portland public schools, they're probably not as diverse. It's probably a more homogeneous environment. And so you might have to seek that out a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. We'll probably send our kids to the public schools because they're number one in the state, you know, for public schools. Extremely high rating. So when she gets to kindergarten or first grade, maybe, you know, we'll probably send her there, and it's walking distance to our house. So that's another reason why we moved here, is for amazing school districts. We pay the taxes for it, so why not take advantage of it?
Okay, racking my brain for any remaining serious cons people need to know about before they move here. What do you think, honey?
Any more cons? Weather can be a con. Affordability can be a con. I think we talked about the walkability. If you need the walkability, you're gonna have to pick one of the more expensive neighborhoods.
Access to the lake.
Access to the lake. One of my pros is that we have the only lake in Portland is Lake Oswego. So you get to look at it, you get to enjoy it, be around it from that perspective. But if you want access, it's very, very limited. There's only about 3,000 houses that have easements. Reach out to me if that's something that you want to know more about. I could do a whole nother video on just lake access and easements and what that means. But it's actually very complicated, and there's only a certain amount of homes that are actually have easements to the houses, to the properties, and you can't get a new easement. If your house doesn't come with one, you can't get one. And so you need one to have access to the lake. And if you want to have a boat on the lake, you really need to live on the lake, because those wait lists can vary anywhere from, probably the soonest is 2 to 3 years right now, on out they're estimating to 10 years to wait to have a boat on the lake. So access to the lake is very restricted. If you have an easement, hey, it's easy. You can go down to these cool little easements, and they have docks, and you can put in your paddleboard or your kayak, and you can jump off, you can swim and get access that way and enjoy it. But actual power boats and stuff, definitely there's only like so many reserved. So that's one of the cool things about it, is that it's not an overcrowded lake at all. We always laugh about it because there's hardly anyone on the lake. Most of the time, I'm like, why is there not more people on the lake? Oh, because it's very restricted access. So if you have access, it's awesome. If you don't, it's not so great. So definitely reach out to me if that's a priority for you.
Okay, so I think I focused really hard on the cons because I had to rack my brain. I love it here. I'm super picky. I always choose to live in neighborhoods, my whole adult life that I think have a lot of aesthetic beauty. That's really important to me. And that I think are gonna have people that I can connect with, also important to me. So I really racked my brains for the cons. Now I just wanna do like a quick fire, favorite things about it.
Your favorite,
because we
not
didn't
your
focus
cons,
on the
but
pros.
Your pros.
We didn't. I feel like I had to focus on the cons in order to just come up with any, because I have so many pros.
Okay,
I love
rapid
it here.
fire pros, go.
Beauty, the beauty of the homes, the natural beauty, the aesthetic beauty. It's gorgeous here. I hope it's coming across in this walk, but really you just have to.
It's amazing.
When we moved here, Aaron came to look at the house without me, and he called me and said, we could live here. It's stunning.
Yeah, I was blown away.
He was blown away. And we've already lived in beautiful places. So we were coming from Topanga, California, which is gorgeous. So beauty, huge pro. Access to beaches, some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Some people say the Oregon coast is the prettiest place in the world. And the mountains, hour and a half away, both. Just that wholesome family environment. A couple of weekends ago, we went apple picking. We go blackberry picking down the street from our house in the summer. This week, our daughter went on a field trip to the pumpkin patch on Sauvie Island. Just that wholesome family outdoor experience is a huge pro. Having this small town environment that's 20 minutes from Portland, 45 minutes from a great airport where you can get anywhere, all the city amenities, the museums, the restaurants right in Portland is a huge pro. For me, the seasons is a big pro. What am I missing?
The mountains. I mean, look at the view of the mountain just from here through the trees. We can see
Mount Hood.
Just, right there. You can have skiing within, 2-hour drive. That's one of the awesome things. Another pro is location. The location here of Lake Oswego and just Portland in general is amazing if you love the outdoors. And that's one of the main reasons I think people also come here, is the scenic beauty of, you're in the heart of Oregon, to have access to the ocean, the beaches that Briana talked about.
Wine country,
the mountains, skiing, sledding. The location is amazing. It's like 2 hours to any of that stuff, or way less. The moment you've been waiting for, the biggest con Briana and I wanted to share with you, is the housing prices. Lake Oswego is one of the most expensive areas in Portland, so you are gonna pay for all the amazing pros of living in this beautiful city.
And I think the con on top of the con is it's probably not going to go down, right? Because there's nowhere else to build. Lake Oswego is kind of tapped out in terms of land, and it's only growing. And
Exactly.
so waiting for prices to come back down is super risky. You're going to price yourself out.
We're at 1 month of inventory right now, which is actually up from about 0.7, less than a month. So now is the time, if you're thinking of buying here, if you're thinking, hey, I'll just wait it out, honestly, I don't think that's a good choice. The best time to buy real estate was yesterday. The next best time is today. They're anticipating prices to appreciate at least 10%, this next 12 months as well.
And we're not saying that to rush you or scare you or, be pressury, but I have friends who were just waiting for that right house and felt like the market was peaking. And I think they missed their chance. I think, honestly, they're priced out now, and it breaks my heart because of how grateful I feel that we got in when we did. So it's not to be, high pressure. It's just a really risky strategy to wait.
Yeah. So the pro to that is you're going to get appreciation. This is the best place to live in Oregon as far as schools and all those things I just talked about. So you are going to get appreciation. If you keep it for the long term, you're definitely going to get appreciation. And if you want to know more about Lake Oswego, living here, and what it's like for us, we do a monthly newsletter where we give out quick little tidbits of what we're up to, what's going on.
Local businesses, real estate tips.
Exactly. Down in the description, I've got a link there that says newsletter. Just hit that and sign up, and you'll automatically start getting that. Otherwise, if you have any questions, please reach out. I love talking to people that are looking to move here and answering any of the questions, sharing my knowledge. So feel free, really shoot me a comment or just give me a call. Until next time.
Okay, and PPS. Aaron has to get home because he has a couple of showings this afternoon, and I need to get him to give me a couple minutes to dip into Morse for that really, really good coffee. Please, honey?
How can you say no to that? Okay, let's go. Where did we park? Oh wait, we parked in front of Morse. That's how she's getting me. That's how she's going to get me to get a coffee. We don't even have to drive anywhere. We're parked right in front of it. All right, let's go get that coffee.
Thanks, honey.
Another big pro here are all the trails. We talked about the pro of it being located if you like outdoor stuff, but it's also a big pro if you like to bike and
just be in nature within the town.
There's over 26 parks in Lake Oswego. It's just one of the major pluses. All right, and here we are at Morse. So really will see you guys next time. Let's get that coffee. Coffee time.